Hello again, it's Lock Noob, and I'm going to continue my American Lock 1100 series clone series. Bit of a mouthful. You can see I have a borrowed American lock. It's actually a pass-around lock that will only stay with me for a bit. This is the American A1100, and this is a clone of it, the Kasp 14040, that we're going to have a look at today. For all intents and purposes, you see the form factor of these two locks are virtually identical. Some differences. The Kasp in particular has a way to, I think, remove the shackle and replace it should you need to, and a very different sort of keyway to the keyways you normally see in American locks and their clones. Here's another American lock clone, the Kasp. It's not a Kasp, the Squire Sal 40 as well, which we'll look at another day. With the normal American locks and clones, you can actually get in an 18,000 piece and gem and work all the way through the warding, all the way to the top to get at the pins. You don't have that luxury with the Kasp. If you look down inside, you can see that we have a keyway which is a bit like a Yale keyway in some ways, and it curves off to the right when you look at it at this angle. That in itself is really quite frustrating because it means I can't easily get in my pry bars, and if I do get one, it's a slimmer pry bar that I like to use. There's a lot more slop in it than I'd like. When you have something like the an American 1100, you can get a nice firm fit with a pry bar like this at the top of the keyway, and that's a good way to pick them. Can't really do that on the Kasp in a way that I find comfortable or useful, especially if it's full of spools. So I'm going to have to use a combination of picks and picking styles to get past the warding. If I use a Peterson's gem in there, you can see that the warding throws the pick off to the side. So I will have to use bottom of the keyway tensioning with a wrench which is thinned down a little bit. It's commercially thinned down, I didn't do it myself, and it rests on the bottom piece of warding there, and it does give me enough tension to open the lock. The lock itself is a bit different to the standard American hundreds, which all have a 6-pin core keyed to 5. This is a 6-pin core keyed to 6 pins, and it works just as you'd expect, really, with ball bearing mechanism in an aluminium body. So without further ado, I think we should try and pick this thing. I found that it provides me quite a challenge. I don't know if you noticed on the key, but there are some serious bitting problems to get past, not least because you've got some very high cut pins protected by these very, 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 very low cut pins here, and that just means these are very easy to overset. So I'm going to have to use a picking technique that I very, very rarely use, because it's not what I'm particularly fond of or experienced in, but it seems to work a little bit on this, and go back between two different picking styles. I'm going to put the tension wrench in and use light to medium tension, and use a Southord Max. I think it's a 08B, which is quite a sharp angle medium hook, and then swap over to the 7B, which is a very shallow hook. Even though I think they mark this as the medium, but we'll gloss over that for now. Okay. Starting on pin 1, 2. You see how I'm putting it here and twisting it over the warding. If I twist it over the warding enough, you can see it actually gets quite a deep, gets some of the pins quite deeply. So let's have a look. 1 doesn't move, 2 a bit hard, 3 a bit hard, 4. I think 4. 5 and 6. It's got to be very subtle and nice with this lock. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They all seem a bit solid in there. Don't know why. Try again. bit more tension. Try that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just trying to subtly move those pins gently up. We're getting closer to a full set now. Just being very gentle with them on 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving 1 up a bit. There we go. Got a bit of a core movement, a bit of a false set there. I don't know whether you saw that. Okay, so just having a look back in there, see where we're at. On 6 is solid, 5 solid, 4 getting some counter rotation on 5 for certain, 3, 2, 1 again, just make sure. I think 1 set. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I think it looks like we're in a bit of a false set. I'm going to swap over to a different hook and see if I can encourage anything to if there's a spool in there, trying to encourage it to turn for me. Okay, on that's 4. Back to 1. We 1 seems still picked. 5. Okay, I think we're in a full set again. Just make sure. 6. Got heavy counter rotation on 6. Don't overset anything or lose anything on 6. I might have overset that. Okay, I think we might have rescued the full set. See on 5. And we're open. There we go. So that was a very tough pick, that one. You better appreciate this. Yeah, really had to adapt my picking style to get past this lock. It's definitely going to stay in my collection, this one, because I think that locks like this, they do challenge you. I've had some real challenges in this series, notably the well, it's actually the Series 20 American lock was a real challenge, just because it was straight up serrated pins all the way top and bottom. But this one is quite the challenge as well. Okay, well, let's close that back up. I'm going to go away and gut it for you, and we'll be back in a second to discuss what's actually in this. From picking it, I can tell you there's some form of serrations and some kind of spools in there. Although I have been wrong before. Okay, back in a sec. And we're back. Okay, so I've just gutted this, and as always, it takes me about 12 times longer than everybody else I see on YouTube to do it. But nevertheless, we do have quite a nice range of pins in here. Very similar actually to a lot of the other American lock clones. So we do have serrated pins, and actually you can see here this is a serrated steel anti-drill pin. And all of the key pins are serrated apart from this little brass standard key pin at the end. So yeah, definitely some nice, and look how long these key pins are. So these are obviously protecting those ones at the back. If you even touch these, it's going to put you into a false set. Hence why I had to change my picking style, which you saw not so long ago. As far as the drive pins, I was expecting some serrated in there, but the nearest we got to a serrated pin is this, well, we call them barrel pins, or I do. You can call them something else. I'd actually really like to know what else you might call these, but barrel pin is something which I've heard, and I use it myself. And some really nice, they're very small, but very nice and sharp spools there. So 6 pin core, actually pinned 2 6 pins with serrated key pins and spools and barrel pins for drivers. So there we go. Hope you found that interesting. Next time I think we're going to look at the Squire Sal 40, and we're almost at the end of the locks I actually have. So I'll see you next time.